Hello everyone, this is Abhishek Singh, Assistant Professor at Engineering College, Banswara, Rajasthan. So welcome to our channel Tech to Faculties. Here I will be teaching the basic electrical engineering subject for first year student under the initiative Let's Bridge the Gap. Okay, last lecture I will be discussing the series resonance. Okay, so in continuous with that, we were discussing that in series resistance, in series RLC circuit, the impedance at resonating condition or at resonating frequency will be minimum. Like if we have R, L and C like this, at resonating condition XL will be equal to XC and your impedance will be purely resistive. Okay, so impedance was minimum here at resonance and current was maximum. Okay, and we call this current is maximum at this particular resonating condition, and at that time the voltage across the combination of this XL and XC will be 0. It will be short circuit, means VL and VC will be equal and the VL minus VC will be 0. But the voltage, individual voltage across inductor and capacitor, that is VL and VC, will be more than the source voltage. So it can be more than the source voltage. So that's why we call this series resonance circuit as voltage magnification circuit. Voltage magnification circuit. Okay, so it is possible at resonance that the voltage across the inductor and capacitor can be more than the source voltage also. Okay, in general it's not like that. Okay, so now let's discuss the parallel resonance. So far we have discussed the series resonance. Okay, let's discuss the parallel resonance. So if we can analyze this parallel resonance also, as we studied the series resonance. Here what we will do, we were analyzing in terms of impedance. Okay, when we are discussing series resonance. Now if we are discussing parallel resonance, let's say we have a current source, something I angle 0, that's variable frequency, and we have a parallel RLC circuit like this. RLC. Okay, so here what we'll do, we will analyze it in terms of admittance, because voltage V will be same in each element, that is in R and L and C. The current will be different. Okay, in parallel current divides. So why we are doing this calculation in admittance? Because if the admittances are connected in parallel, we can combine them correctly. Like if we have admittance Y1 and Y2 in parallel, so equivalent admittance Y will be directly equal to Y1 plus Y2. Okay, so what is the admittance of this R branch? Let's say this is your Y1, let's say this is your Y1 admittance, this is your Y2 and this is your Y3 admittance of this branch is Y3. So what is Y1? Y1 is 1 upon R. Admittance is what? A reciprocal of impedance. Okay, Y2 is what? Impedance of L is what in frequency domain? It is j omega L. So admittance will be 1 upon j omega L. Admittance of third branch will be what? Y3. Impedance of C is 1 upon j omega C. That means admittance will be j omega C. Okay. Now the equivalent admittance Y will be what? Y1 plus Y2 or plus Y3, and your admittance, final admittance, equivalent admittance will be 1 by R plus 1 upon j omega L plus j omega C. Okay, it's clear? Okay. Now what will be your voltage V? It will be I by Y. Okay, it will be I by Y. I into Z is your voltage, and admittance you can write Z as 1 upon Y. Okay, by Ohm's law. So your voltage will be like I divided by 1 upon R plus 1 upon j omega L plus j omega C. Okay, like this. Now, like in series resonance circuit, at resonating frequency your inductive admittance will be equal to capacitive admittance, and this will act like a purely resistive circuit. Okay, and your this Y2 branch and YC branch combinedly will act like an open circuit. Okay, because if your admittance of this combination is 0, it means your impedance is infinite. Impedance infinite means it will act like an open circuit. Okay, so at resonance your 1 upon XL will be equal to 1 upon XC. Okay, admittances will be equal to same. So the combination which you are writing here, this one. Okay, so this one you can also write like 1 upon R, if you take J as common, plus J omega C minus 1 upon omega L. So this term will be 0 at resonance. Okay, so at resonance you will get here omega naught L will be equal to 1 upon omega naught L will be equal to omega naught C. And from here also you will get the same formula for resonating frequency, that is omega naught equal to 1 upon under root omega 1 upon under root L C. So this is your resonating frequency here again. Okay, because at resonance this will be 0. This admittance is 0 means your impedance is infinite. Impedance infinite means this branch will act like a open circuit, and your circuit will be purely resistive. Okay, and the power factor will be unity. What you can you'll conclude here that here the admittance is minimum, so your impedance will be maximum. In series resonance your impedance were minimum at resonating condition. Okay, here in parallel resonance your admittance is minimum at resonance. Okay, and your voltage is maximum at resonance. Okay, in series resonance your impedance was minimum and your current was maximum. Here your admittance is minimum, that means your impedance is maximum, and your voltage is maximum, that is your current is minimum. Okay, so here also you can draw that plot of omega versus voltage here, because the voltage will be maximum at resonating condition. Here will be your voltage, and that will be Im into R, no? The current and the resistance. And what will be the value of voltage at this point? And this will be 0.707, half power frequencies, Im into R, and these frequencies are your half power frequency omega 1, omega 2, and this is your resonating frequency omega naught. So like we have derived the formula for bandwidth in series resonance, same way you can derive it here also. Okay, so I am writing it directly here. Your omega 1 will come like 1/2 RC plus under root 1/2 RC square plus 1 LC, and omega 2 will be minus 1/2 RC. You can plus 1/2 RC square plus 1/LC. Okay, so here you will get your omega 1, omega 2 like this, and your bandwidth delta omega, or you can say B, will be equal to omega 1 minus omega 2, and it will come up like 1/RC. So RC circuit, the time constant is RC. Now you know the bandwidth is reciprocal of time constant, means your bandwidth is here 1/RC. Okay, you can derive formula for quality factors here also. So the same formula for quality factor, that it is 2 pi into peak energy stored in inductor or capacitor, or to the energy dissipated in resistor. Here it will come like omega naught. If you write in terms of inductance, it will come R upon omega naught L, means reciprocal to the formula we get in series resonance. In series resonance we got quality factor as omega naught L by R. If you want it in terms of capacitance, you'll get it as omega naught RC. Okay, so here again the relation between bandwidth and quality factor is same. What it is? It will be Q naught is equal to omega naught upon bandwidth, and the formula for cutoff frequency will also as omega 1 is equal to omega naught minus b by 2, and omega 2 is equal to omega naught plus b by 2. Okay, so like this we can also derive formulas for parallel resonance. Okay, the one thing you have to remember is that in parallel resonance your admittance will be minimum and your voltage will be maximum. Here in parallel resonating condition, your circuit in parallel resonance, your circuit will be current magnification circuit. Okay, it will be current magnification circuit, because here your voltage will be maximum at resonating condition, so combination of this admittance will be equal to 0. Okay, and this will be, the circuit will be open circuited. The current here, the combination current here will be 0, but individual current in these branches in L and C can be more than the source current. So this at resonating condition. So this is this circuit, you can call it as current magnification circuit. The series resonance circuit, we are calling that as a voltage magnification circuit, and this parallel resonating circuit, we'll call it as current magnification circuit. Okay. Now, if you have a mixed series parallel circuit, like, you call it a parallel circuit, but if you have a mixed circuit, like suppose you have RL here like this, and C is here. Right? There is your voltage source. Let's say this is V. Okay, this is your L, this is your R, this is C. So if you have to find the resonating frequency at this particular circuit or anything, any complex circuit, so what generally you will do to calculate your resonating frequency? Okay, what will you do? You just have to find the equivalent impedance at this particular terminal, okay, where the source is connected. So you have to just find the equivalent impedance. Means suppose in this circuit, if you like to calculate your equivalent impedance, suppose this capacitance branch, your impedance will be what it will be in frequency domain? It will be 1 upon j omega c. Okay, or for inductor you write j omega l. Okay, if you change it in impedance in frequency domain, and your R is R only. Okay, so suppose this branch your impedance is Z1 and this branch your impedance is Z2. So what will be your equivalent impedance here? It will be equal to Z1 Z2 divided by Z1 plus Z2, because in parallel your impedance will be calculated like this. Okay, so if you put the values of Z1 and Z2, your Z1 is R plus j omega L. Okay, so your Z1 is R plus j omega L. And what is the value of Z2? Z2 means this impedance, that is 1 upon j omega c. Okay, now Z1 plus Z2, R plus j omega L plus 1 upon j omega c. So this is your Z equivalent. Now you have to simplify this expression, and you have to separate your real part and imaginary part. Okay, to separating real and imaginary part, what you do generally, you multiply the conjugate of your denominator in both numerator and denominator. Okay, so if you do this, you'll get your real part and your imaginary part. So here will be some expression that will be your real part, and j times here will be some expression, and that will be your imaginary part. So to calculate the resonating frequency, you know, at a resonating condition your circuit will be purely resistive, so you will get only the real part of impedance. That means at resonating condition, this imaginary part, whatever it is, it should be equal to 0. So you just have to put this imaginary part is equal to 0, and from this equation you will get your resonating frequency. Okay, so in any complex circuit, if you have to calculate a resonating frequency, then you just have to find an equivalent impedance at this terminal, and you have to put your imaginary part of equivalent impedance equal to 0, and you will get your resonating frequency. Okay, so you calculate the resonating frequency here and message me in comment what is your resonating frequency. Okay, so just follow the process what I have told here. Okay, So next we will discuss the power relation. Okay, what I have promised earlier while studying the power factor. So we will discuss here the power relations. So suppose we have a voltage E is equal to something V angle theta 1 and current I is equal to something I angle theta 2. Okay, suppose this is voltage and current are in phasor form. Okay, so we have a complex power which is equal to V I conjugate. Okay, this is your complex power. Means you, if you write it in polar form, you will get V angle theta 1, okay, into conjugate of I. That means you will get I angle minus theta 2. Okay, so you will get here by V I angle theta 1 minus theta 2. So it's basically the phase difference between voltage and current. So this is your nothing but your power factor angle, the difference of phase difference of voltage and current. Okay, so this is your say complex power, small s. Okay, so if you write it in rectangular form or trigonometric form, what you'll get here, that you'll get here V I cos theta 1 minus theta 2. Let's say theta 1 minus theta 2 is your difference, and let's say this theta 1 minus theta 2 is the phase difference between voltage and current, and we are calling it phi, let's say. So you'll get cos phi plus j sin phi. Okay, so here you'll get Vi cos phi plus Vi j times Vi sin phi. Okay, so now we'll define the three powers. That is, this terms we call it a true power or active power, and we denote it by P, and we call this reactive power and we denote it as Q. So your complex power S is equal to P plus J Q. P plus JQ. If you write it in polar form, like here, so this magnitude Vi is your apparent power. Okay, is your, so if you write your complex power in terms of polar form, the magnitude portion will be your apparent power. So apparent power is the total power which source delivered to the load, and it is capital S equal to Vi. Okay, Vrms, Irms, and the unit will be volt ampere. Okay, unit will be volt ampere. And another power, this is active or true power. So it's the fraction of total power which is useful, which is doing the work. So active power or useful power or true power, anything you can say, it is P will be equal to Vi cos phi, and the unit is watt. Okay, and your reactive power, the part of the component of the apparent power that is not useful but it is required, reactive power, that is Q, will be equal to Vi sin phi, and unit is VAR, reactive volt ampere. Okay, so like this we can define our powers. So as we draw the impedance triangle, same way we can draw, this is a complex quantity, the same way we can draw the power triangle also. So if we draw a power triangle, so we can draw it like this is your Vi cos phi, that is your P, this is your Vi sin phi, that is your Q, okay, and this is your apparent power S, this is your Q and this is your P, and this is your power factor. Angle phi means the phase difference between voltage and current. So from here you'll get another formula for power factor. If you write cos phi here, what will you write? Cos phi is equal to base upon hypotenuse, that means P upon S, means active power divided by apparent power. Okay, so now we can discuss the significance of power factor. So ideally the power factor, your power factor should be unity. Okay, why? And if your power factor is less than unity, if you are going down, means your system is not efficient. Why? Suppose if you have a 10 kilowatt load, okay, let's discuss the significance of your power factor. Okay. Let's discuss the significance of your power factor. Power factor. Okay, so you got your power factor also as P by S, active power by apparent power. So suppose you have a 10 kilowatt load, you need power 10 kilowatt for the load. So if the load is having the power factor less, suppose let's say if you have a power factor of 0.8 at the load and your P is let's say 10 kilowatt. Okay, so what amount of power the source will deliver, what amount the power you need from source, so you need your S as a P by cos phi. Okay, so if you 10 kilowatt load and your power factor is 0.8, so how much power you will draw from the source? It will definitely greater than the 10 kilowatt. Okay, it means that you have to draw a more current, you have to draw a more current from source. Okay, the voltage is constant, you have to draw more current from source if you want to supply more power to the load. Okay, so if you are drawing more current, obviously your losses will be more, I square R losses will be more, so that implies your losses will be more, and if losses will be more, then definitely your efficiency will be less. Okay, and you have to design your auxiliary equipments according to this current rating. Okay, so this will increase somewhat the rating of auxiliary equipments also. Okay, so your power factor should be ideally be 1, unity. If your power is unity, power factor is unity, that then in that case you just have to draw 10 kilowatt divided by 1, means for 10 kilowatt load you just have to draw a 10 kilowatt power only. Okay, so in that case you don't need to draw extra current for feeding the load. Okay, so your power factor should be ideally unity or practically near to unity. Okay, now let's discuss some numerical on this series RLC circuit and your power equations. Suppose a 2 watt resistance and 0.125 farad capacitance and 3 Henry inductors are connected in series across a voltage this one. Find the Z impedance of circuit, I voltage across inductor, voltage across capacitor, power factor, active power. Okay, and write the time function for I, the voltage across inductor and the voltage across capacitor. So this kind of numerical, how you will deal with it. So you just have to write all equations in terms of polar form. So you can write your voltage V as 12. If you are writing RMS value, you will write it 12 by root 2 angle 30. Okay, clear? Okay. This equation is 2t, means your omega is 2. That is clear. 2 radian per second. Okay. So this is given. L is given 3 Henry. C is given 0.125 farad. Okay. So now let's simplify this. 12 by root 2, you'll get 8.4 or something, 8.487 angle 30. Okay. So now let's calculate XL. XL is what? Omega L. Omega is here 2 radian per second. So you'll get your XL as 2 into 3, that is 6 ohm. Okay. Now XC. XC is what? XC is 1 upon omega C. Omega is again 2 and your C is 0.125 here. Okay. So 1 upon 2 into 0.125, you will get 4 ohm here. Okay. So what is your Z now? Your Z, your impedance is say R plus J XL. Here I think it will be 2 ohm resistance. Okay. So Z is what? R plus J XL minus XC. So you will get 2 plus J 6 minus 4. What you will get here? You will get 2 plus J 2. Okay, and you'll get some 2.828 angle 45. Okay, in polar form. This is your simply the Z. Okay, now the first question is answer is here. You have to calculate your Z. So if you have Z, then next what you can calculate, you can simply calculate your I as V by Z. You have V like 8.48 angle say 30 divided by Z, that is 2.828 angle 45. From here you will get your current as 3 angle minus 15 degree. Okay, so this is nothing but your current is lagging your voltage by an angle 45. The phase difference between voltage and current. Voltage you have angle 30 and for current you have angle minus 15. The potential difference, phase difference is 45. That you can see here also. The angle of impedance represents the power factor angle simply. So this will be your current, and what will be your power factor? Cos phi. Your power factor will be cos of 45, that is 0.707. Okay. Now if you want to calculate your active power, that is VI cos phi, so you can directly put the values and calculate. So RMS value of V is 8.487 and 487. Okay. RMS value of current is 3 and your power factor is 0.707. So from here you'll get your answer as 18 watt. Okay. Now if you have to write time function of I, so I you got this. So if you have to write it in trigonometric form, so what will you write? 3, this is your RMS value. Okay, in trigonometric form you write here the maximum value. So what you will write? Im root 2 times of your RMS value, root 2 times of 3. Okay, root 2 times of 3 sine 2t, it is omega t, and angle is minus 15. Okay, like that. Same way you'll got your VL and VC. So if you want to calculate your VL, suppose, how will you get it? VL means voltage across inductor. It means it is I into XL. That way you can get your VL. Okay, and VC will be equal to I and XL. So that way you will deal with this complex and polar form. Okay, that series and parallel circuit. Okay, now let's discuss some other examples. Suppose a capacitor 50 microfarad is connected in parallel with a coil. So if you heard coil, it means there is a resistance in series with a inductance. Okay, so here you have a capacitance is connected in parallel with a coil that is having a resistance 20 ohm or inductance, let's say 0.05 Henry. This is, let's say, 20 ohm resistor, and this is, let's say, 50 microfarad capacitor, and this combination is across a supply that is 200 volt 50 hertz. Okay, calculate the line current, power factor and power consumed. So again, what you have to calculate? You have to calculate the complete Z. Okay, complete Z means this branch, the Z is, let's say, Z1. Z1 is, let's say, impedance of this branch Z1. It will be 20, that is R, plus J omega L. Omega is here, F is 50, means omega is 2 pi F. It will be 100 pi. Okay, so omega, that is 100 pi, L that is 0.05 Henry. Okay, so from here you will get a complex number of impedance, that is Z1, and the impedance of this branch, let's say, Z2. Okay, so what will you got here? If I am writing Z1, Z2, you'll got here equal to 25.43 angle 38.13. If you got a complex number, if you convert it into polar form, you'll get this. Okay, and Z2, if the impedance of this capacitance branch, so it will come, it will be 1 upon j omega c simply. Okay, so if you put your omega, that is 100 pi, and your capacitor, you'll get Z1 as 63.7 ohm. Okay, 63.7 ohm, and with an angle, obviously minus 90, because you'll get a minus j here. Okay, so now if you want to calculate the current, means the current from the supply, so there are many ways. You can calculate your I1 and I2, and you can add them vectorally, or simply you can calculate your equivalent Z and divide Z by voltage V. that case you can also get your I here. So let's calculate your I1 and I2. So what is your suppose I1? Let's say this is I1 and this is I2. So what is I1? I1 is simply V by Z1. Okay. So V is your 200. Okay. 200 angle 0. Okay. 200 angle 0. Z1 is 25.43 angle 38.13. Okay. So from here you'll get your I1 as 7.86 angle minus 38.13 ampere, and I2 if you want to calculate, you will get V upon V, voltage across parallel branches is same, V upon Z2. So here you will get your I2 as 6.41 angle minus this is 3.14 angle 90. Okay. Or if you want to calculate your I source current, okay, just vectorly add the current you get earlier. Okay. So if you add them, you will get your final current, that is 6.41 angle minus 15.47. Okay, this way you can calculate your current. Okay. If you now want to calculate your power factor, so what is the phase difference between voltage and current? Voltage you are V angle 0 and your current is like 6.41 angle minus 15. This means this is your power factor angle. So your power factor will be cos of that angle, that is 15.47, and it will come 0.964 around. Okay. So if you have your power factor and if you have your voltage V and I, you can calculate power also, that is Vi cos phi, the active power consumed. Power consumed is nothing bad but the active power. The active power. So resistance is the only element which consume your power. So you can also calculate consumed power by the value I square R, the current flowing in resistance, and the ohmic value of resistance. So these are the way you can calculate your power.